Mike Damergis along with Anthony Carlo for the Sports Sit-Down week number 11. And Anthony, today you look marvelous. And looking not so marvelous was the New York Giants as they took on the Steelers in Pittsburgh. It was a game the Giants were in and they could have had.
We don't have many weeks here or opportunities, Mike, to talk about the good things that happen with our teams. But the New York Giants, one thing has been exposed to me, in my opinion. The Giants have displayed that they can certainly beat the competition who's not so good, but when it comes to the playoff contenders like the Pittsburgh Steelers, they come up short.
Yeah, and right now they sit at 8-4. They got the Cowboys on Sunday at home, the Lions at home, then they go to the Eagles and Redskins. And to be honest, I could see the Giants losing all 4 of these games. The defense is playing better, and although Eli Manning only has 2 interceptions and 7 touchdowns in his last 3 games, something's been off. He made some critical mistakes against the Steelers on Sunday.
Absolutely. I mean, look at the game before this past one when the Giants took on the Browns. First of all, their offense was going nuts, okay? 300 yards offensively. But you look at the team that the Browns are. I mean, it's a horrible team. Then you look at their offense and the way it performed against a team like the Steelers. 91 yards in the first half. 91 yards. I mean, you can't win a game when you're putting up 91 yards in one half of a football game.
Now, look, the Giants hold their own destiny. The cards are in their hands. If they could somehow beat the Cowboys on Sunday night, it would be a big upset, even though it's at home, and then maybe win one more and go into the playoffs at 10-6. You couldn't have asked for more. But speaking of horrible, it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse every week for the New York Jets. And what I saw Monday night in front of a national audience against the Colts was absolutely disgraceful. Everybody should have been fired. Fitzpatrick should have been kicked off the team right away. Todd Bowles should have been fired Tuesday morning. Mike McCagnon, gone Tuesday morning. You got to fire the whole team.
Well, listen, it gave Monday Night Football a bad reputation based on all the great games we've seen. Fitzpatrick is as good as gone. I mean, Bryce Petty, of course, has the role now heading into the end of this season.
But why? Why does he have the role?
He should have it. Ryan Fitzpatrick didn't do a damn thing to have this role.
But this guy shouldn't even be on the roster. Christian Hackenberg shouldn't even be on the roster. The Jets should have drafted another quarterback.
But where do you go?
If these guys are not ready to play, why were they drafted? They should be drafted if they're not ready to play.
All right, well, put it on the front office then. Obviously, there's poor front office moves going on. I'm just talking about the here and now.
But what do you do? Do you rebuild again? I mean, how many times does this team have to keep rebuilding? From Herm Edwards, you went on from there to Mangini, and from Mangini you went to Rex Ryan, and now you're with Todd Bowles and Mike McCagnon. How many more times do they have to change the coach? How many more times do I have to say they need a quarterback? How many times am I waiting for that great defensive player to come through and be consistent? I mean, the defense was supposed to carry the team, and it's been so inconsistent this year.
Let me give you an upside. You could get into that game for the price of a hot dog. Did you know that?
$5, that's right.
Unbelievable.
And now you know why I didn't renew my season tickets this year.
Understandable. The best part of this whole debacle, the fact that Mike Pence joined Woody Johnson in his box to watch this train wreck. How about that? Hopefully that's not a prelude to how our country's going to go once the president is in office.
I think the Jets right now basically need to just go to the Arena Football League because they're a joke. And what I saw, not just a lack of effort, but you saw guys being open by 10 yards.
Yeah.
From day one, week one, the communication in the secondary was horrible. The defensive line was kind of holding their own. The linebackers, to me, Deron Lee has been a bust.
Sure.
The number one pick for the linebacker. I mean, he has been a bust, if you ask me. And from being disinterested to not knowing the plays, this all falls on the shoulders of Todd Bowles. I thought that he was a right guy, a player coach, a quiet guy, speak softly but carry a big stick.
Sure.
Well, he's speaking softly and the stick ain't so big.
Let me just say one thing, Mike. I mean, we could criticize the player choices, their draft choices, their maneuvers rebuilding-wise. One thing doesn't change. No matter who you have coaching the team, no matter who's on the playing field, heart. Heart doesn't change. Whether you have players who just can't get the job done or players who are the best in the league. If a team doesn't have heart and can at least show, like you said, that they're putting in effort to save face during the end of a season, you have serious problems, and I really highly recommend that people start boycotting the games, just totally. Give this organization a wake-up call. Let them know nobody is going to be paying the bills for these players unless things turn around.
And by the way, I've created a website that I'm going to start creating content for. It's called dumpthejets.com.
Okay.
No more
nice.
season tickets,
Original.
no more fans. Dump the Jets. Speaking of which, a player that was kind of maybe not dumped from his former team. Matt Holliday ends up with the Yankees 1 year, $13 million. Good move, yes or no?
Look, when I look at this move, first of all, Matt Holliday has not played a whole lot of games in the past couple of years. I mean, last year he fractured his thumb, I believe. He's 36 going on 37. When I looked at the Yankees and the type of way that they were trying to change this organization around and build around that core, I don't know if I was thinking Matt Holliday for a year. They're sort of borderline on hiring these free agent wash-ups who maybe can get the job done if they fit the right puzzle piece. If not, it's another wasted contract.
Well, you know what? He brings a veteran leadership, proven winner, World Series winner. If they could get 25 home runs out of him, so be it.
I mean, God bless if that's the case. Yeah.
They need some power from somewhere.
They do.
Because you don't know how the rookie is going to perform and the young player is going to perform going into their second years and stuff like that. So, veteran leadership. Another move they made, they brought Aroldis Chapman back.
Sure.
I don't know if I'm so crazy about this move.
Biggest contract for a closer, I believe. $86 million over 5 years.
Exactly. I mean, let's face it. In the World Series, he wasn't all that great. Let's be honest.
Aroldis Chapman, number one, you watch him pitch, he's not Mariano Rivera. Okay, nobody ever will be. If you're talking about tightening up the bullpen, I mean, they certainly did that by locking him in. But, Mike, let me ask you, what about this starting pitching? I mean, we've been talking about the Yankees starting pitching for how many years now that they haven't really had a World Series winning rotation since 2009, and they're tightening up the bullpen where they already had, Dellin Betances, I get it, he's not the be-all, end-all, but how about we turn some attention to this rotation? That's my opinion. It was a good move. Overall, though, I would take Aroldis Chapman. I mean, if you're going to lock him up like that, I would take him.
Well, look, they got to make some moves because, the Red Sox are making moves with Sale. Yeah. They're going to be tough to beat once again, and the AL East is always going to, you got the big market teams in the AL East, and they have to do something. But to your point, you got to get the starting pitching. So
you do.
Anyway, he is Anthony Carlo. I'm Mike Damergis. This is a Sports Sit Down.